Hi, guys, and welcome back to RT Share Tea, where respiratory therapists live out loud. With me, your host, Linda Fra, the Asthma Lady. Yes, thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you to anyone new. Thank you to my regulars. I really appreciate you guys sticking in there with me. This podcast has been going through a few under construction notices. But I'm excited to see, what's to come. So please hang in there with me and know that we are growing together. All right, guys. So this episode we are talking about, well, it's still the month of May and we are still in Asthma and Allergy Awareness Month. All right. So to piggyback off last week episode, which was just being proactive in spreading awareness during Asthma Awareness Month, this episode we're going to talk about something specific, which is recommending the use of a spacer as a method of choice when it comes to inhaler use. Okay, guys, but before we get into that, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to RT Share Tea. There is so much more content to come. I have a few things in the pipeline. Just hang in there with me. Trust me, okay? We are growing. Okay, so thank you so much. Oh, thank you to anybody that was at the last presentation that I spoke at the asthma and PFT seminars for QHC seminars and for Al Canones. I want to say thank you to anybody that participated. And guys, I just want to make sure that when people hear me speak, they hear the passion that I have for what I do. And just know that I enjoy doing what I do, even when I don't like where I do it. If I'm working at a specific institution, I do enjoy what I do. So that's why when I speak from my gut, because it is, I feel like it is something of passion. Like I felt like I was really meant to do it. Okay, so as far as asthma education and just being a respiratory therapist and a public health educator. All right, so if I inspire anybody to do work that comes from their heart, then I am successful, because that's really pretty much what I'm looking to do anytime I speak. But anyway, let's get back on the topic. Okay, so today's topic is, what did I say now? Recommending the use of a spacer as the method of choice. Okay, for inhaler use. All right, so because we are in Asthma Awareness Month, this is an ideal time to continue to spread education, awareness, and resources that help patients gain asthma control, because that's what this is about. All right, guys. So this is asthma control is not about being perfect. It is about progress. So the more education, the more time folks hear this information, the more it sticks, because asthma is so complex. It's a complex chronic disease. So it has a lot going on. And know that the information has to be repeated over and over and over again for them to get, I believe, even 7% of the information that you're providing. You just have to keep repeating the same thing over and over again. Okay, so when it comes to a spacer, and spacer, aka your aero chambers, aka your valve, your one-way valve, or any of these devices, know that we advocate for the spacer because using an inhaler or an MDI is very coordination dependent. So meaning the patient has to know what they're doing to get the treatment that they are supposed to be getting. All right. So with the spacer, it helps to make sure that the medication is going where it's supposed to go, to the lungs. All right. So when folks use the inhaler without a spacer, it ends up on the tongue. It ends up in the back of the mouth. If they are using inhaled corticosteroids, the spacer helps with not developing thrush around the mouth, or like that fungus thing that ends up on the tongue, right? The spacer is cost effective compared to the nebulizer. Some parents, when it comes to small kids, they love the nebulizer. They say something about the sound soothes the babies, or the toddlers. It's soothing for them, and they feel like it's a set it and forget it. But with the spacer, it's also, you just put it against the face with the mask, and they breathe in with a normal tidal volume, just normally for like 6 breaths, and they get the dose. So it's also pretty simple, and like a 5-6 year old can do it on their own. You understand? So and like I said, it's cost effective. Like a nebulizer, the cheapest one that you can find probably on Amazon is around like 30-35 ish um dollars, and a spacer can cost you half that, like $14. And both, but know that both of them, for most insurances, you can get one a year. But here's the thing: with the nebulizer, you have to remind patients that nebulizers either have to be plugged in or have to be charged. They do have the portable nebulizers. But know that when you have these superstorms and these natural disasters, when you don't have electricity, or you're scrambling to, and you need these medication, you're back in the emergency room. So that's why we always advocate for a spacer um, for everybody, right? There is no age restriction for using a spacer. All right. So I also hear some parents say, like, oh, little Johnny is 11 years old now. He's old enough. He doesn't need a spacer. And I'm just like, well, where'd you hear that from? There's no age limit for it. A baby can use a spacer. A teenager, elementary school, grandma, grandpa, trach patients can use the spacer, and even dogs that have asthma have spacers. They use the aero chamber. They have them for dogs. Okay, so little Max, Fifi, Fido, and them, they have spaces too. Okay, so yeah, just know that this is available to everybody. There is no age limit for this, right? And when it comes to the nebulizer, just comparing the two, the nebulizer, know that if one of the parts of the nebulizer is damaged, the nebulizer is over. Is it? You most likely will have to buy the whole entire unit again, because a lot of the pieces are dependent to that specific unit. So it's not like you could just interchange them really like that for these nebulizers you're getting from offline, or online, or from Amazon, or from your pharmacy, right? So a lot of times that's what happens. We're like, oh, Mr. Rodriguez, what happened? Why are you not why is Peter not taking this treatment? And they'll be like, oh, because the nebulizer is broken. And it's like, and like I said, they pay for one a year, right? So think about it when you're talking to those of need, and those that have a lot of social economical issues. You want to steer them in a direction where we're going with cost effectiveness when it comes to gaining asthma control, right? And okay, when it comes to the spacer, this is another thing. People lose them. Unfortunately, they lose them. They don't know where they put them. I'm going to give you a tip. Tell them to put the spacer in their underwear drawer. I know it sounds a little ridiculous, or maybe it sounds a little too personal, but for the most part, everybody wears underwear. For the most part, right? And so you want them to put it somewhere where they're going to see it consistently, and when they need it, they know where to go. Okay, so when when they're not feeling well, they have an asthma attack, they know to run to the underwear drawer to go get their spacer. Okay, and if you say that and you get the TMI answer, which is I don't wear underwear, then you say the sock drawer. And if they live somewhere where, it's warm all the time, or like South Beach or Hawaii, you tell them to put it where the bathing suits are. Okay, so basically, you go for whatever is the standard article of clothing that they look at often. That's where you want the spacer to be, so what they know where it is when they need to find it. And if you don't know what a spacer looks like, this is what it is. I know as respiratory therapists, we all seen it. This is the ones for the little baby. All right, so I have this as a demo that I use often when I'm with my patients. And know that, just make sure that they take the cap off. You know how many times I've seen not taking the cap off, and they will tell you the medication is not working, right? So the MDI goes in here, right? So this one has a mask. It goes to the sealed around the mouth and the nose, and then we press down, right? So we want to first put it on the face and then press down on the med. So some people, they'll press down first, and what will happen is some of the medication will escape from the mask. So we don't want that. So we want to make sure that if it's a mouthpiece, that the mouthpiece is in the mouth. But if it's a mask, we want the mask on the face, then you press down, and then the person will get the treatment. And like I said, they breathe in a normal tidal volume of six breaths, and they'll get it. And remember, it's one puff at a time. Okay, so that's how we coach folk when it comes to the spacer. Okay, so we are a huge advocate of this spacer, and if patients don't want to use this, at least tell them to have it as a backup, because like we said, you don't have to charge this, you don't have to plug it in, it does not need batteries. Okay, so this is the go-to when it comes to the MDI. All right, guys, so let me see if I forgot anything. I said insurance is cost effective, decrease the medication ended up in the back of your throat. And I said it's cost effective, and it's pretty, as long as you use it the right way, you're going to get everything. You're going to get all of the medication that you're supposed to get for that dose. All right, guys. So yes, I hope I helped somebody here today. I hope you gained the new tip from the asthma lady on Asthma Awareness Month. And so once again, guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe. We are here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Anchor, and I want to say at this point, anywhere where you can find your podcast channels. And we are also on YouTube on Thursdays most of the time. No shade to myself getting it together. But yes, guys. All right. So thank you so much for being here with me. And I just love the fact that we are growing together, guys.